see, if you knew that your thoughts created your destiny, if you knew that on a gut level, would you ever miss a day? Come on. And would you ever let any thought slip by your awareness that you didn't want to experience? So you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. Out of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts that you think in one day, 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. So then the same thoughts will always lead to the same choices. The same choices will always create the same behaviors. The same behaviors will produce the same experiences, and the same experiences will create the same emotions, and those same familiar feelings and emotions will drive the same exact thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your chemistry, your hormones, your physiology, and your genetic expression will be always equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And so then, your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So the present personality who's sitting here today has created the present personal reality called your life. So would you agree then that if you wanted to create a new personal reality, then you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it? Yes? And you'd have to start noticing those unconscious habits and behaviors that lead to the same experiences, that create the same emotions, that reaffirm the same identity, and decide if you want to act and choose in the same way. And then you'd have to look at those emotions that you've memorized, that have become part of your personality, and decide if you want to bring those emotions into your future. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it's impossible. We literally have to become someone else. So then, if you keep thinking the same way every single day and making the same choices that lead to the same behaviors, there's a principle in neuroscience, and that principle is nerve cells that fire together wire together. So as you repeat the same thoughts, choices, behaviors, and experiences, you're forcing your brain to fire in the same sequences, in the same patterns, in the same combinations every day. And as long as you make your brain work the same way every day, you're reproducing the same level of mind. And you begin to hardwire your brain into a very finite signature. And that finite signature is like the box of the brain. So then, thinking outside the box then would mean that you would begin to make your brain fire in new sequences, in new patterns, and new combinations. And whenever you make your brain work differently, you're changing your mind, because mind is the brain in action. So the one ingredient that allows you to begin the process is information, is knowledge. Because every time you learn something new, you make a new connection in your brain. That's what learning is. Learning is forging new synaptic connections. Remembering is maintaining and sustaining those connections. So then, the Nobel Prize laureate Kandel in the year 2000 found that when people learn just a few bits of information, they doubled the number of connections in a certain part of their brain from about 1,300 connections to 2,600 connections. But if they didn't revisit that information and review it, within hours or days, those circuits literally pruned apart. So then, as you begin to learn vital information about the nature of reality, the new science of possibility, and you begin to wire that information in your brain, and you can repeat it, which, by the way, if you come to the workshop tomorrow, you're going to have to repeat everything that you learn, because you're going to have to wire it in your brain. So that in your weakest moment, or your darkest hour, you don't talk yourself out of possibility. So as you learn just a little bit of information, you're adding new stitches into the three-dimensional tapestry of your gray matter. And if you can contemplate and think about what you've learned, you're making your brain fire in new and different ways. And when you make your brain work differently, you're changing your mind. So then, new thoughts should lead to new choices. And new choices should lead to new behaviors. And new behaviors should create new experiences. And new experiences should create new emotions. And those new feelings and those new emotions should drive new thoughts. And that's called evolution. So then, does your environment control your thinking? Or does your thinking control your environment? Or we could say, does your personal reality create your personality? Or does your personality create your personal reality? So then your brain is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a reflection of your external environment. It's an artifact from the past of all the things you've learned and all the things that you've experienced. It's wired or mapped in your brain. So if you wake up every morning and you get out of bed on the same exact side as you did the day before, and then you shut your alarm clock off with the same finger, and then you slip into your favorite slippers and you shuffle into the bathroom, and you use the toilet like you always do, and then you get up and you walk over to the mirror and you look in the mirror to remember who you are, and then you get in the shower and you wash yourself in the same routine way as you always do, and then you dress yourself and groom yourself to look like everybody expects you to look, and then you go downstairs and you have your breakfast the same as you did the day before, and you drink coffee out of your favorite mug. And then you drive to work in the same routine fashion, in the same route. And then you get to work and you do the things that you can memorize and do so well. And then you see those same people that push the same emotional buttons. You know, those people. And then you hurry up and you go home. And you hurry up and you eat. And you hurry up and check your email, and then you hurry up and watch your favorite television show, and then you hurry up and go to bed so you can hurry up and do it all over again the next day. Now here's my question. Did your brain change at all that day? We could say that you were thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, living by the same emotions, but secretly expecting your life to change. Would you agree? So then, as you go to the same place and see the same people and do the exact same thing at the exact same time as you did the day before, we could say that it's your external environment that's turning on different circuits in your brain, causing you to think equal to everything that you know. And as long as you think equal to everything that you know, everything the same, and you told me that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, you keep creating more of the... Poke the person next to you, please. So you're thinking equal to your environment. So we could say then that it's your personal reality that's creating your personality. And it's your environment that's causing you to think and feel equal to everything that you know. So then you would have to agree with me then, to change is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your world, to be greater than the circumstances in your life. And every great person in history knew this, whether it was William Wallace or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Joan of Arc, Madame Curie, Queen Elizabeth I, Abraham Lincoln. They all had a vision. They had a dream. Couldn't see it, couldn't smell it, couldn't taste it, couldn't feel it, but it was alive in their mind. it was so alive in their mind that they began to live as if that future reality was happening in the present moment. So then, can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the experience has already happened? Neuroscience now says it's absolutely possible. So can you fall in love with the future potential that exists in the quantum field and emotionally embrace that future reality before it's made manifest? So much so that your body, as the unconscious mind, begins to believe that that future experience is happening to you in the present moment, and you begin to signal new genes in new ways that your body begins to change to look like the experience has happened. Epigenetics says it's possible. So if your brain and body are physically changed to look like the experience has already happened, relax, because the experience is going to find you, and it's going to come in a way that you least expect. Now, why would it come in a way that you least expect? Because if you can expect it, it's nothing new. It's got to catch you off guard, and it's got to rock your world, and it's got to leave no doubt that what you did inside of you produced some result outside of you. And when you can correlate what you did inside of you that produced some event outside of you, you'll pay attention to what you did and you'll do it again. And when the experience finally shows up and you're caught up in the emotions of the experience, those new emotions then inspire you and drive you to believe that it's possible. And you begin to build a neurological network that convinces you now that somehow you have a hand in your destiny. How many people are with me? So then, if you accept this paradigm just in the littlest way, then you would have to agree then that the quantum model of reality says that your environment is an extension of your mind. That mind and matter are so intimately related, it's almost impossible to distinguish them apart. So if your environment is an extension of your mind, and you truly change your mind, shouldn't there be evidence in your life? I mean, why else would we do it? Shouldn't there be something happening outside of you because of the change you made inside of you? You with me? Now, when we embrace the concept of change, you know, if you're no longer going to think the same way or act the same way or feel the same way, you're not going to make the same choices that lead to the same behaviors, that create the same experiences, that produce the same emotions, that make you feel like who you are. The moment you begin the process, you step into the river of change.